You go over to Houston and Jacksonville. Let's let's get the main thing out of the way, Devin.
Let's get
Which you know what the main thing is. It's Trevor Lawrence going for a slide.
Steph Curry.
And then if you would do me a big favor in helping me pronounce bro's name.
Al-Shaaiir.
Okay, yeah. We'll just go
Al-Shaaiir. Is it? I can't remember. Is it an F or a K?
You're already. You're throwing me.
No,
off.
I wasn't looking at. I can't remember.
I know. Well,
Al-Shaaiir.
Okay,
Azeez Al-Shaair. Al-Shaaiir.
We just gonna call bro Al.
Azeez.
And the I mean, I'm not no disrespect to bro because people are out here calling him nobodies. It's like, well, he's not a nobody. It's just his name is hard to pronounce. All right, so
Sure.
It's just,
Apparently, there was some. He apologized and then he called out racist and Islamophobic people. I don't want to get political or nothing, but
well, I mean, all right. If you want my take on that, there's really all right. Like we talk about somebody that we don't like on this podcast, and not one time and you can say what you call it, whatever you want to call it, but we never had or felt the need to bring up race or religion.
Whom?
Us. I'm saying me and you.
Oh, you're talking about people in general.
Anybody we brought up, like if we've bashed something Tyreek Hill did.
Sure.
It's because Tyreek Hill is a bad person.
Yeah.
You
may think those things sometimes.
It has nothing to do with what he looks like or who he believes in. But it's like he does bad things and then it comes out in the news and then we talk about it.
Yes.
Now this is it's football, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Am I shocked that there are people on the internet behind a screen on their keyboard, probably calling them slurs and calling them whatever? I'm not surprised. I mean, most of the internet, that's what most of the internet is, just a bunch of hateful shit. It's just a bunch of shit that's
well, it's probably just a bunch of pissed off Jags fans, and
yeah.
I don't want to attack the city of Jacksonville, but
I mean, it's just.
But also, I don't want to. Whatever.
Well, let's talk about the hit.
Yeah, sure.
So Trevor Lawrence goes to slide, and Big Al goes in a little late. Now, here's the problem. When I say a little late, it's because it was a little late.
A step.
The best thing I heard this morning was, all right, it looks like way worse in slow motion.
1,000%, yeah.
Like, it looks a lot worse.
Like, I showed somebody else who does not watch football, and they were like, I was like, well, he just fucking took his head clean off.
Well, I'm not defending it.
Of course not.
But I'm saying, like this whole malicious, he wanted this to happen. He wanted to do this. And then I heard somebody like, well, he's leading with his forearm. It's like, would you rather him lead with his head? Like,
sure.
I don't know.
Now, in slow motion, you can see, like, the movement of the arms to the head. I don't know if that's malicious or not, but I don't know. In the league, you have to make sure that if you're seeing a dude slide, you're not going at his head.
I just think the narrative is being driven by a couple of things. I've heard a couple things like, well, he's already been fined for this, he's already been fined for that. It's like, okay, everybody's getting fined.
Honestly, I don't really care what bro's done or whatever. This happens a lot.
Everybody is getting fined. Like, running backs are getting fined for putting their head down too low.
Of course.
Receivers are getting fined for that. Like, people are getting fined. Anthony Richardson got fined for some bullshit last week. Like, there's fines coming in every day for these NFL players. So these prior fines, they mean nothing.
Sure.
Also, another thing I heard,
the NFL is clearly not very consistent.
It's like if he didn't go out, Trevor Lawrence didn't, if he didn't blank out, and he eats that hit and gets back up, it's a flag. It's unnecessary roughness, but
you don't think he would have been ejected?
There's no. You get one or two personal fouls if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it depends on them.
I feel like he probably would have gotten his first personal foul. It wouldn't have been such an intense fight. There definitely would have been a scuffle still.
Yeah.
But the way, I mean, it cleared out. Like it's like they were trying to. It's like they watched college football and were like,
We gotta try to hit this
like,
level.
yeah,
No one's
we
gonna
gotta get
touch
up
that
there.
jackass level of
Oh,
Michigan
not
and
in
Ohio
Michigan,
State,
no, or Ohio.
um, but no, I mean, yeah, he went. I went back and I watched the Flacco hit from whenever that was, 2017 against the Dolphins. Kike Alonso when he popped his helmet off, and it's like the same type of play where he goes in low and then throws the arms and hits the head. And now it's usually when the head bounces off the turf. Um, but I was thinking about like it's such a defenseless position. Like you cannot do anything to
Uh-huh.
brace yourself or stop your head from hitting the turf or whatever when you go to slide. And yes, quarterbacks do get a little. They'll definitely take advantage of sliding late. They'll get out there and not get down early, but I don't know.
I mean, players need to, because I've heard a lot of discussions on like how it could be fixed and if it's an offensive or defensive thing. In terms of like, is there a better way to slide to protect quarterbacks? Is there, and to me, the answer is no. I mean, the only other thing is they
Well,
just
honestly, the only quarterback that I've seen get knocked out from trying to truck somebody is Tua. That's because
yeah,
his neck is fucked
yeah,
up. But
but before that, it was just just getting hit. But I'm saying
well,
like
yeah,
a quarterback can't just drop down if he's not even mid sprint and he can't just stop full momentum and drop down. You
yeah.
need
I mean,
you
there
need to
might need to
slide.
be something said about like a late slide type of ordeal.
Well, see, they've been harping on that for a while, and it's like, okay, obviously he had enough time to notice that Trevor Lawrence was sliding. He
Sure,
also has the knowledge of an NFL player
not
to know he's probably going to slide. He's
yeah,
not like if you're an NFL linebacker though. But I'm just saying, hear me out. If you're an NFL linebacker and you got a quarterback running at you, in your mind, 9 times out of 10, he's probably like, there's no way he's lowering his shoulder.
sure,
There's no way,
exactly,
and he didn't.
yeah.
And he still launched at him. But the real question is,
But
go
one
ahead.
question, sorry,
No, go ahead.
the angle that he's coming at, is that not a penalty if he hits him when he's standing up? If he hits him when he's standing up and he goes that low, that's below the knee. He's flipping. He's hitting a Shadur Sanders or whatever.
No,
Is that there's no penalty for just
I don't believe, I don't, to my knowledge, you can hit low.
okay?
You can clip
Then I don't.
away. I mean,
Okay, but okay. So then, but at the same time, yes. I mean,
if anything,
I
he
don't know.
just dropped his hips and kind of met him where he was.
Sure, but he
That,
left his
that,
feet.
he left his feet, but now what I was gonna ask is, how often do you think he trains dodging a sliding quarterback in midair?
0.
I'll give him credit and say maybe it's something that is like talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's something that's like, hey, no, make sure you now. And I'm obviously we know when it comes to what NFL players are doing when they're training, we know absolutely nothing. This could be something he's done a thousand repetitions of this offseason, practicing
Yeah,
avoiding sliding quarterbacks. But I think maybe if you just you focus more on that. I mean, bro, you go out there 100 times a day, 100 times a week, and just I don't know, have somebody or something full speed. You run as fast as you can, go as if you're tackling, and you got to figure out how to. I mean, I don't know, Superman that shit
spin
and
move.
just barely. I mean, because I feel like there's got to be a world where if it starts to get to a point where even if they're clipping them, like, but they're trying their best to avoid them, almost like like sometimes punters get bumped
For sure.
and
But when they try to spin off of it,
like they'll
then they
get
don't
bumped and
usually call it.
they'll try to get off and it usually won't be a flag. So
Mm.
maybe there'll be some, but there's just I don't know. It's never going to change when it comes to protecting a quarterback. So you just got to learn how to play your game and still, I don't know, stay in it,
Yeah.
not get thrown out, not get ejected. It's just,
I mean, well, they got rid of the slide cancel, the Kenny Pickett
yeah, yeah,
fake
yeah,
slide.
yeah. Well, that
Um,
had to be banned.
Yeah, the most
That was gonna
illegal
get
move.
people
I mean,
killed.
yeah. Well, honestly, it was just a benefit to the quarterback. It's just like you go to slide, you pull up, and then
You mean like when Mahomes like ran to the
now
sideline
exactly, and
and
then cuts
then
up exactly.
everybody let up? Like, see, like that's my thing.
It's like we
It's like
can't give quarterbacks too much to where they can then use it as an advantage, but like there has to be something said about when you slide. But also, again, putting yourself in a slide is way more compromising than putting your head down or
But
putting your
like
shoulder into a slide.
think about how nobody touched him when he tiptoed that sideline.
Yeah,
That's something that's taught. It's like in their minds, it's like, all right,
for
Patrick
sure.
Mahomes is angling
Yeah,
towards this sideline.
it's
He's
just
got to
him
be
though.
going out.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence was running up on me head up. He's got to be sliding. Like, how is that not the same? You got to have that same thought process. It can't be that hard. And, maybe it could be, but I think once you're at that level, you got to figure something that simple out.
yeah.
Um, I mean, and it's good that he came out and apologized and said what he said. And at the end of the day, it's not that deep. It almost just kind of makes the NFL look bad and make it, you already got people calling NFL players brain dead idiots and
Yeah, and
everything else.
we got another knocked out fucking quarterback. Well, at least they didn't put him back in the game. That's good.
They didn't put him back in the
At
game.
least he was on his back
He stood up.
when he got knocked out, so you could see him fence.
Why? Now, why do you
Well,
gotta
no,
say
I'm
that?
saying that because when Josh Allen got
Oh,
knocked out,
okay,
he's
okay,
face down in the
okay.
turf,
I
and
thought
no
you were
one can
making
see
fun
him.
of them, bro.
No. I'm saying that when you're on your back, it's visible that you are asleep. When you're face down,
Yeah.
they're gonna put you back in that game for no fucking reason because you're gonna
I don't
throw.
know. I don't think there was any way Trevor Lawrence was. I mean, he was out for a minute. I mean, there was a
No,
whole
no,
brawl. I mean, he was.
but that's the
I mean,
way it
he was
should be
out.
when you. I'm watching it again, but when you get knocked out on a football field, you should not re-enter the game.
No, absolutely not.
So.
There's no question. All right. Indianapolis versus New England.
I love how
No,
we
no,
didn't
no,
even
no.
talk about the game for a second.
No, no, I want to talk about the game. I forgot. Bro, I had a whole
I
point.
wish we would have just moved
Bro,
on.
fuck no, I had a whole point. 23-20. Houston gets a 3-point win over the Trevor Lawrence list. Jags. Mac Jones comes in and has a pretty decent game.
Mac attack, yeah.
Bro, and I don't want to keep sound like a broken record or shit on a team that I actually do like. But Houston they're just not the dogs that we thought they'd be.
No, and again, it's very similar to kind of last season. Um, they're winning games. Um, they're playing well, but it's not convincing. They're not.
It's not like this was a game that we were supposed to take over. This was a game we said last episode. This was a game they need to steamroll.
They need to
This was
prove.
supposed to be what Washington did to Tennessee. Houston needs to do this shit to Jacksonville, and it was it just was not. I don't know what it was, bro. It's just Houston is. They're just not on that. They did not take that next step that everybody thought they would take,
No.
and hopefully they build on what they built on last year and just add even more pieces. They get even more polished. You get Stephon Diggs back, hopefully, healthy enough to be productive.
But we were expecting them to improve without the addition of Stephon, without the addition of Joe Mixon. I was expecting CJ to improve. I was expecting Nico to come out and have a crazy year.
Yeah, but I want to say I remember us specifically talking about after they made those pickups where we were like, okay, Houston's locked. Like they are locked in.
No, I'm not saying that that's not what we said, but I'm saying that we expected them to be good already, and then this is just going to bring them to the top of the AFC essentially, or near the top of the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, or I don't know. Maybe my memory is just tricking me, but I feel like when those moves were made, it was just like, oh, okay, well,
they're locked.
Well, let me get the fuck out the way.
CJ's not having a bad statistical season.
No, but he's playing how a second year quarterback plays. It's just not the best football, but there is so much potential in the Texans. It's like you can't even be mad at them if they lose in the first round this year again. Like it's
Mm.
like if they lost to Baltimore last year in the playoffs.
Second round.
Or second. Okay, yeah. So okay.
Y'all were a first round bye.
Yeah. So they lose to Baltimore in the playoffs. All right. Whatever. They lost to the 1 seed last year. It's not it's really not the end of the world if that same thing happens and they go in and say lose to the Chiefs in the second round. I mean, it's it's there's
and
still
I mean,
plenty of
they're
hope.
8-5 now. They've got not a crazy, actually fairly tough schedule coming in.
They got
Dolphins,
Chiefs and Baltimore.
Chiefs, Ravens, Titans. Titans should be easy, but yeah, I mean, again, they're not bad. They're playoff bound, but yeah, just not the force we thought they'd be. But again, we can't blame them.
No, you can't.
Can't call it bad.
They're still a young group. Indianapolis.